If you clicked on this video, you're probably interested in how you can use generative AI effectively in your research writing. Can these tools really help streamline or improve the process of publishing your work? In a previous video, we shared tools that can help you at various stages of the research writing process. And now, we will explain important things you should know before using Gen AI extensively in your research. Why should you watch this video? Well, you don't want to end up like these researchers, who had their article retracted from a journal, in part for using generative AI to write their manuscript and not disclosing it, which violates the journal's editorial policies. Their blunder is pretty obvious. The first line still includes text written by the Gen AI program. This real-life example of improper use of Gen AI in publishing is just one of many possible issues you need to be aware of when using these technologies. In this video, we will cover the key concerns for using Gen AI in research writing, ways to and to not use it, and how to develop Gen AI literacy. While these tools contain a lot of promise for supporting research writing, we hope you will leave this video understanding why it is essential to develop generative AI literacy and evaluate the outputs you receive from these tools. A first concern using Gen AI for research writing is that these programs may hallucinate content. Hallucinations occur when a program's output contains false, fabricated, or misleading information. Hallucinations can occur for several reasons, such as due to the training data, prompts given, and inherent challenges in AI program design. That's why you'll notice many programs, such as ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, include disclaimers about checking accuracy when you use them. A second concern is potential biases in the outputs provided by Gen AI programs. Research has shown that many Gen AI programs have gender, racial, and other forms of cultural biases in their outputs. Biases can be harmful in reinforcing existing stereotypes. Third, an AI program's responses will only be as good as the query you provided. Learning how to develop effective prompts to yield helpful answers is an important aspect of Gen AI literacy. Later in this video, we will share principles of good prompt engineering. Finally, you should be careful not to input confidential research information or proprietary data into large language models if you do not know the program's data policies. Some universities, like NC State, have begun to contract with LLMs to ensure privacy of the data in the programs. However, if you conduct research with certain organizations, you may not be able to use these programs due to data privacy and security needs. Now that we have shared some basic concerns about using Gen AI tools for research writing, let's explore some do's and don'ts. First, in getting started with your research, do use it to help you with brainstorming, gathering ideas, and organizing your thoughts. Many Gen AI tools can help you identify current themes in research or determine an appropriate order of topics. But don't use Gen AI to come up with the main ideas or evidence of your project alone. Recent work from Drs. Jessica Parker and Kimberly Pace-Becker show that Gen AI tools can change the strengths of claims in research. For example, if one study has data suggesting a possible correlation to something, a Gen AI tool's summary of that article may state the link is more confidently known than it was truly demonstrated in the research. Thus, a best practice when reviewing research is for you to still be familiar with your sources and accurately convey the findings and their certainty level. This leads us to the second don't for using Gen AI in research writing. Don't act as if the tool alone can author your work for you. If you're using one of these tools for your research, do remember that you as the author have the ultimate responsibility for all of the content. So, do review any outputs from the tools you intend to use to guarantee their accuracy. Likewise, do document your use so that you can account for it ethically if a journal requires you to do so. This might include documenting the date used, prompt given, version of the tool used, and more. Thus, a best practice for using Gen AI for research writing is to fully understand how your target journal, research team, funding agency, or other publication venue want you to use and document your use of Gen AI tools to help with your work. After hearing concerns for using Gen AI, some do's and don'ts along with best practices, you may realize that developing generative AI literacy will be important for your future use of these tools. How can you develop Gen AI literacy to support your research writing? We want to suggest a couple of ideas to get you started. 1. Gen AI literacy involves understanding how the tools work, what they are capable of, and their limitations. For example, it is important as a researcher to understand that large language models are pattern predictors. But this does not necessarily mean that their outputs generate new knowledge, an important requirement in research. Other aspects of how these tools work, such as their energy usage, database biases, or output limitations, are important to understand so you can make informed decisions about using them. Second, Gen AI literacy includes understanding how to write effective prompts for your desired task. Poorly written prompts do not provide the programs with adequate information to yield helpful outputs. Google suggests that strong prompt engineering includes writing a highly structured prompt that incorporates the tool's role and important context before giving the instruction. Google also suggests providing examples if possible and constraints to limit the model's output. Finally, good prompt engineering also asks an LLM to check or evaluate its work after finishing. Generative AI tools have the potential to support many tasks that researchers do, particularly with writing. It is important to evaluate your goals, follow best practices, and develop Gen AI literacy so that your work is both effective and ethical. Remember that these tools are continuously evolving, so staying up to date on developments is an important part of using Gen AI tools. Thanks for watching!